Hi guys, so this is going to be a different video than most. Somebody in my Twitch chat came a week or two ago and they're like, Pashi Pop, can you just do a video talking about like, just you yapping about like Druid and Cleric and supports in Dark and Darker. So I figured why not do it. If you're not interested in this kind of video, I'd recommend clicking off. It's going to be a very like yapping video where I just talk and my unorganized thoughts about the game and Druid and Cleric. It's super unorganized, so... The first thing I want to talk about is Druid. I feel like Druid's in a pretty good spot. I feel like it's very weird how a lot of the items that Druid has... So there's a few things I find weird. We'll start with the weird things. I find it weird that there's a lot of items that Druid has that scale with magical healing. Like, that have magical healing. So like the Ceremonial Staff, it has magical healing. I don't understand the point of that magical healing. Like, there's no way they want us to build magical healing on just Dreamfire. Because while Dreamfire is a good spell, and day by day I've been building more and more magical healing because of the value I get from Dreamfire, I don't think it's worth like stacking to that extent where you use a Ceremonial Staff. Another weird thing that I've found out, that I've thought about, is I really haven't seen a lot of Druids play in the playstyle that I do. I don't see a lot of Druids heal. I don't see a lot of Druids like play hybrid. I don't see a lot of Druids adapt to their forms. What I see is I either see Bear Druids, I see Panther Druids, or like that's kind of it. Don't know why Panther is so popular. I think the build is strong, but you die very quick. At that point, I feel like if you play Rogue, you'd be better off. There is some utility that Panther Druid has with the walls and the treants, but I have yet to face an opponent that has made effective use out of them. It's pretty disappointing to me that I don't see like a lot of Druids play the hybrid playstyle that I do. I think it's kind of the way that it's meant to be played by Iron Mace, they intended. A hybrid kind of playstyle between your healing, between your forms, between all that. Because I don't play just Panther and I don't play just support, I play everything. I don't really use Panther to damage, I use my Spear to damage, so I guess maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I don't really play like a hybrid build, maybe I do just play a weird build, but I don't know. I think it's in this very weird spot though. I also find weird that like, so Thorn Barrier and Treant, right? I've been using Treant a lot more recently because Treant, it's an instant block. When you put down a Thorn Barrier, there's a delay when you put it down because it goes up the wall like a second after. It's weird. With Treant, when you put down the Treant, it comes up instantly. So I've been using Treant a lot more instead of Thorn Barrier because it's an instant block. It's like you have to test it to see what I'm talking about. I really don't think that's the way that Treant is intended to be used. I feel like it's the same kind of thing with Hydra. Like, I don't really know what they're thinking. Hydra is used to like Hydra is abused to be life drained, to block doorways off. When I think in reality what Iron Mace intended is like a Hydra to be a summon you put in a fight to like attack. Like life draining the Hydra, blocking doorways with the Hydra. I don't really think that's what Iron Mace intended. It's the same thing with the Treant. I'm using this fucking thing to block people on doorways and absolutely like kill high move speed targets and squishy targets. Like I use it in such a toxic way. Like I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like I think I have so much impact in these fights as Druid. It's crazy. Like I feel like these Treants are like responsible for so much of these wins. I don't know. It's insane to me. Like if you go to any of my highlights, it's like just people getting mogged by the Treant. I feel like it's a very like toxic way to die. I feel like there's not a lot of counterplay. I feel like it's hard to deal with because if you're versing someone like me who rotates the treants in after they die, because I know how many swings it takes. I look at the enemy, I see how much they're swinging, then reapply it. I have 4 of those. So I can keep an enemy locked in front of the tree with my front line for like 4 treants. Like they really need to change that shit. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so toxic to die to it. I can't lie. I cannot lie at all. And I've seen no one use it to the extent that I have. I use it like a monster. I use it like I'm the fucking devil. So, I don't know. I feel like they need to add more to Druid though. Because clearly, there's not enough cool spells for people to use. Because what I see people do is they're just in Panther form. They don't really utilize the heals. They don't really utilize the hots. They don't put the hots in their teammates before they go in. They don't really play Druid how people play Druid like WoW or like this hybrid playstyle. They don't do that. They stick to Panther form, just deal damage. So I feel like Iron Mace needs to add more things, make Druid more appealing to play this hybrid playstyle. But I think it's cool. I think Druid's really cool and really fun. It's just they really need to like this treant shit, dude, is like so toxic. It's so toxic. Is there anything that I wish they did to Druid? In its current state, I personally don't wish they did anything to Druid for me personally, because I already enjoy the hybrid playstyle as it is. It's more than enough for me. For other people, they definitely need to add more things in. They really need to fix Spirit Wand or Spirit Link because it's like bugged right now. It's not really working intended. They need to make the auras bigger for Druid, I think. Like, Spirit Bond, I think, needs to be way bigger. And so does Sun and Moon. Because you have to be so close to your teammates for these auras. What else do I wish they added? I think more forms would be cool. I'd love to play 10 spell Druid. I'd love to see a 10 transformation Druid. Do I think Druid is better than Cleric? I say this a lot, but I think they're both like good in their rightful situations, because Druid, it has heals over time. You need time for your heals to apply, right? So like tanky targets work best with that because they have armor, max HP, PDR, MDR for their hots to get value out of. For something like a wizard, you're not going to get a lot of value out of Druid because, you know, you're playing with a low HP, low MDR, low PDR target. Cleric, on the other hand, is really good with people that get bursted down because your heals are burst. You have burst heals, they have burst damage, you counter. But I really do think Druid is OP. I think it's very strong, but I think it's also really hard to play. I think I've never seen anyone play Druid the way I do, to the level. I think that it's just a difficult class to play. There's so much more to learn about it. I guess I could talk about Cleric now. I feel like Cleric is very one-dimensional. I feel like that they need to... Iron Mace needs to make the hybrid playstyle between healing and frontline like easier to do as a Cleric, because the only way you're going to be able to play that playstyle as Cleric is if you have really high dex, because you need to swap between your Morningstar and your Book. If you have no high dex, then you're never like, by the time, like, I always enter these situations where I'm like fighting and someone dies me, it's like, oh, just pull your weapon, bro. By the time I pull my weapon, I'm already at 33% HP because it takes so fucking long for me to pull my weapon. So because of that, like, it doesn't make sense to me to build that kind of playstyle. It makes sense for me to just go full pocket. I don't know. It's just, I feel like Cleric's very one-dimensional. I play Druid and I'm like comparing it to Cleric. Like, it's so one-dimensional. I realize how little of impact you have on fights. I mean, you do have a strong impact if you hit all your heals, but it's so difficult. It's so hard to hit your heals. Especially if your team's like strafing and shit. It's so difficult. I feel like adding more utility spells to Cleric would be really cool. I don't really know what they should do with the class. It's really weird. It's just become a heal bot. Its identity is like a pure heal bot. I think what Druid is what I wish Cleric was. A class that can like do so many things and still have high impact. Like, I have so much impact in fights as Druid. As Cleric, it's like a matter of just me hitting my heals or not. It's so one-dimensional. As Druid, it's like 10-dimensional, bro. As Cleric, it's like one-dimensional. Hit my heals or not. And I don't know, it's just boring. Like, you get called like, oh, you're a Cleric main, oh, you can't do shit, right? As Druid, it's like, bro, I'm not a fucking pocket as Druid. Like, I'm getting active with my spear, I'm fucking blocking retreats, I'm healing, I have to make sure my hots are all set up so my Dreamfire gets value, I have to make sure my restore is off, I have to place my Mending Grove in the correct place. As Cleric is so one-dimensional. I feel like the hybrid playstyle of Cleric, though, is really fun, like the frontline, backline kind of thing. I think that's awesome. But yeah, Cleric's in a shitty spot, man. Like, it's just so boring to play, I can't lie. I love playing it. I would play it every day of the week if Druid wasn't out. But it's just like, why would I ever play Cleric if Druid's out? I feel like Druid can do so much more than Cleric. The only reason I'd play Cleric is in Bardwiz Cleric. That's the only time I'd play it. That's the only time I'd play Bardwiz Cleric. Or Cleric. The only time I play Cleric is in Bardwiz, because the Bard and the Wizard are like squishy targets, kind of. They're like they get bursted quick. While in double frontline, Druid's better because I gradually heal over time because there's padding. Also, another thing I want to add about Druid is like, Druid is really good at catching like long range targets. So like, for example, I do the pounce and then I can catch some with the treant and shit. So like, Druid is a huge counter to classes with like range and high move speed and whatnot. I don't know. These are my thoughts. Someone wanted me to make a video about it, so here's the video. Appreciate you guys a lot. And I hope you enjoyed my yapathon about, I don't know, the game. I don't know. Alright, see you guys.